welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, I, a 22-year-old male, just walked into my girl, a 21-year-old female of 7 years, having SCX with my roommate, another 22-year-old. And a shout out to Tommy for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy who's been with his girl for 7 years. So like, he was 15, she was 14, so like his ninth grade girlfriend, I guess. All these years, you probably imagine a big, beautiful future with her. And lo and behold, he walks in on her getting plowed by his roommate. Yeah. However, let's just say that this guy ultimately, as horrible as this is, and you can feel bad for him, definitely has the last laugh at the end of this saga here. And I'm not going to say what it is, but maybe to give you a clue, think 18 years of a problem that the girlfriend's going to have to deal with. And the roommate. I'll be going to go over here, guys, aside from the crazy factor here, just to show you, sadly, in life, you can't trust anybody, even maybe your roommate. Maybe times roommates become like bros, or other times they're just your roommate, you share a dorm with, whatever, but you always have to keep tabs on everybody. You can't really, sadly, trust anybody nowadays, especially with a pretty girl. So it starts off, says here, my last class of the day was canceled, so I decided to come home and surprise my girlfriend. Well, sadly, he's the one that got a surprise. I went to the store and grabbed everything to make her favorite meal, lasagna. I was carrying the bags upstairs and put them down the front of the door to fish for my keys out of my pocket, and then I heard my girlfriend moaning. Uh-oh. I thought that she was taking care of herself because I know that she likes to do that sometimes when I'm not around. So I didn't have a sudden aha moment or anything. I walked in and there she was, she and my roommate on the couch. This poor guy here. And shit, he was going to make the bitch lasagna. Perfectly good waste of lasagna. I opened the door and kind of just froze when I saw it. She looked up at me and turned around and saw it was me. And I just saw red. As much as I wanted to, I didn't kick his ass. I just dropped the bags and walked away. Man, that guy should have been beaten over with if it was like, I never make lasagna myself. I get the freaking Betty Crocker, whatever it is, you put in the oven for an hour and a half. I would have taken that thing and cold cocked him with the Betty Crocker, oven lasagna. That's terrible. Your roommate, really? So as I was getting in my car, they both came running out and yelling at me to stop. How'd they get dressed that quick? Did they come running out butt naked? I would like to see that. But I just floored it and got out of there as quickly as I possibly could. I called my best friend and talked to him about it. He offered to come kick his ass too, and I told him no. I didn't want him to get in trouble from that. Well, this guy has every reason. Guys, there was a time period where somebody insulted you. You could do a duel where two guys would have swords and you know how that went, or pistols. But at the very least, it's unfortunate it can't be a supervised duel, if you will. Law enforcement's there, and you both have boxing gloves on or something, and you can just, and nobody's going to get arrested or anything like that. Because this guy has it coming. I even had an engagement ring that I planned to use to propose to her this summer when we went on vacation. It's in my safe, and I keep it in the closet. So I know that she doesn't know about it. But I plan to spend the rest of my life with her. Why didn't I see this coming? Well, I'm sorry this happened, but he dodged a big one. I mean, imagine he proposed to her and married her. She'd be doing the same thing. My last class was supposed to start at 12, but since it was canceled, I was home by 12:30, so it's been 4 hours. My phone has been blowing up from both of them. I haven't looked at any of the messages or answered any of my calls. What do they got to say? Well, we know. It was a mistake. We're so sorry. That type of BS. I called my bank and made sure that she wasn't on any of my accounts for anything. Why would she? You're both 22, or she's 21, you're 22, and you're not sure if she's on one of your accounts or not? My friend, clearly you're not an accounting major. I'm going to go back later tonight and pack up all her crap and drop it off at her place tomorrow. Then I'll probably take a bag of clothes to my friend's house and stay there until school ends. 3 weeks. What do I do next? What I would do is I would contact your roommate and say, you better get all your crap out of there now. Otherwise, by this time later today, I'm going to be showing up with all my boys with baseball bats. And believe me, we'll forcibly remove you from the apartment. You want to call the cops? Too bad. You can't hide from us. That's how you can show you're sorry. Because I'm going to stay in my freaking apartment or my dorm, and you can find a place to stay for the next few weeks. Go stay with her. What do I do next? He says, I'm at my best friend's house. Him and his sister have been super awesome to me. Their doorbell rang about 5 minutes ago, and it was her. His sister bitched her out, and I wanted to go yell at her too. But I started drinking Fireball instead. It's going to be a long couple weeks until school gets out. Well, that's cool. He's got his bro to stay with, and his sister is bitching her out. Good job for the girl there. Now for an update. Says, first, I want to thank you all. Every one of you have given me advice, offered me an ear to rant and yell, and offered me a shoulder to cry on. After my first edit, many of you messaged me and asked me not to drink, and that I was better than that, and that wasn't the thing to do. I do appreciate that. My friend and sister took me out to dinner to try and get my mind off everything. I can't blame the guy for having a shot. You know, I mean, it's not the answer to get trashed because it'll make it worse, but 1 weekend of wallowing in your sorrows and eating McDonald's takeout and watching some movies and having a few drinks, fair enough, but then after that, you got to move on. At first, I wasn't really up to going, but I figured it'd be better than try to focus my mind on something different. My friends called up a couple of my other friends, and the 6 of us went out to dinner. At first, I wasn't really into it. I was kind of down, but my friends did anything and everything they could to cheer me up. I can honestly say that I love my friends and everything they've done for me. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And even his bro's sister is helpful in this thing. My best friend's sister, Emily, went through all the messages on my phone from both of them and deleted anything that didn't need to be on there. She texted both of them from my phone telling them that it was her that was texting and told her that a friend would be by a certain time to pick up my stuff tomorrow, and she told them that I wouldn't be by tomorrow to grab some things and that I was going to try to get out of the lease by talking to my landlord. Well, good luck there. I want you all to know that I've read through each and every one of these comments and that I've read through every message that's been there sent to me on here. I plan on replying to a couple tonight, blah, 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 blah. And finally, to the people who have been in the same position as I'm currently in, or to those in the situation even relatively similar, I have a couple things. First, none of what your ex so did says anything about you. It tells what kind of person they are. Your reactions tell the kind of person you are. Secondly, all of you are much stronger than you realize. Yeah, guys, all of us that have been cheated on or been through hardships, shit, I've been cheated on in my past. But I know what it feels like. But it's amazing. The pain is, the more you're into the girl, the pain, the worse it is. But you do move on and you get stronger and you learn to recognize signs and all that. Many of you give me such amazing advice, and you know exactly where I'm coming from. Talking about it isn't always the easiest, and many of you tried to help an internet stranger. Thank you. Finally, many of you have much greater things to look forward to. Like one of the old teachers said, it's like moving on to the next book in the sequence. Yeah, you may wait a little bit for the author to release it, but it's worth the wait. And blah, 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 blah. Now we're going to go on to the next step after here, as things are going to start to definitely get interesting, particularly with his former roommate and former ex. Or his ex. It says in this update, I'll start with what happened afterwards and work my way up to today. And that's the only reason I'm making an update only a week later. He says, Emily, my best friend's sister, texted both of them informing them that I'd be coming by to get the stuff. Emily would be going to my ex-significant others. I went with my best friend, Trevor, and Emily to get some stuff from my apartment. My roommate wasn't there, but he left me a note saying that he's sorry and attempting to explain the situation. What's he going to explain? I was in love with her, therefore it's okay for me to bang your girlfriend. I mean, look, here's the deal. If his ex and the guy obviously had the hots for each other, she should at least broken up with him, and then he can move on. Not doing that, And even then, yeah, it would be awful, but still. I threw it away and grabbed some stuff and loaded it into my car. I drove back to the house while the two of them then went to my ex's apartment to grab my stuff. My ex was there, and at first, she wouldn't let them in. She's got some nerve. She yelled at them to go away through the door, and after about 15 minutes of them sitting there, she eventually opened up the door and let them in collect my things. They grabbed my PlayStation 4, movies, cookware, clothes, and some random other things. She cried the whole time and asked if they would tell me that she's so sorry, that it was a one-time thing, and she would do anything to change it. They didn't say a word, although she was crying into an older hoodie of mine, and so they left it there. I'm not too torn up about that. So at first she wouldn't let them in, because probably she was hoping that he would come there, right? And then she could put on the full theatrics of the tears, and it was a mistake, and it was a one-time thing. Bitch, I don't care if it's a one-time thing or a million-time thing. Still, you're cheating on me. You're a piece of garbage with my freaking roommate here. We've been together for 7 freaking years. a third of our lives. I was going to marry your ass. Thank God I caught you. I don't want to hear you're so sorry and it was a mistake. Please. I told a few select friends what happened and asked that they would watch the doors to my classroom when I had classes, so I didn't want to cause a scene. Nothing on Wednesday, but she stood outside one of my teaching classes on Thursday. I went into a different door and thankfully she didn't see me. So now she's stalking him. So obviously he's a teacher, or like maybe he's doing some student teaching or something. I don't know what. On Friday is the day that really upset me. As I said in the last post, in the reply, I'm an education major and I have my practicums this semester. Our education building has 2 floors, and the first floor is a laboratory school, an elementary school that has a lot of education students come into and do their practice and observations, while the second floor has classrooms for education students. My deal is with 3rd graders, and she stood outside the door to my 3rd grade classroom waiting for me. We have name tags and only have to show those to the desk to get in. This guy's he's training for his real life job, and there she is. I mean, come on here. She used to be an education major, but switched majors. Therefore, it wasn't too uncommon for her to be in there. What'd she switch majors to? OnlyFans? I saw her and my heart immediately sank. I decided to just walk by and ignore her. She saw me and started crying and trying to talk to me. I didn't say a word, but just walked into the classroom. Good for you. Don't give her the drama. Don't give her anything, because the silence is the strongest weapon a guy can have. My cooperating teacher asked her to leave, but all my students that were there had already seen it. They started bombarding me with questions, but I just stuck with it. It's nothing important right now, I'd said. We can talk about it later, but we need to focus on learning right now. I'm not all surprised a bunch of 8-year-olds, 3rd graders, I'm picturing like the South Park kids, making comments and all that, but it's like, no, we're not going to talk about it later. You're a bunch of fucking 8-year-olds. But honestly, it killed me inside. I explained the situation to my now cooperating teacher and asked her to watch it if she came back. She said that she would and would ask her to leave if she saw her again. I have a better idea. Call campus security. There's an idea. So I received a few text messages this weekend from her and her roommate. That was extremely annoying. Yeah, her roommate. Classic. The girl gets her friends to gang up on a guy. I got an insane amount of phone calls and I got a ton of Facebook messages. Trevor and Emily also received quite a few as well. I worked all weekend and threw myself into lesson plans and project due. I also went and played a round of golf with some friends. Good, get out. Block all these a-holes on social media and all that. Block their number and all that. And this crap keeps up a restraining order. Today is really why I'm updated. I got a text from my ex around 7:15. She told me that she was, wait for it guys, pregnant. And that it was mine. I screenshotted the conversation. I'm trying to stay calm, but if she truly is pregnant, the baby is mine, then that throws a whole wrench in the whole situation. This didn't possibly get worse for the guy. But don't worry, our story will end on a high note. Can anybody give me some advice on what to do next? I'm trying to remain as calm as I can, but this really is big, and I'm starting to freak out here. Thank you all. Yeah, don't get trashed again. We've been down that road. Paternity test. That's what you need. And frankly, you might as well throw in a STI while you're in there. The STI test to make sure you're okay. Here's the text conversation that we had. This is what she said. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry I messed up our future. But I think that we got a second chance. I know that this isn't what you wanted to hear, but I'm pregnant. Maybe this is why I made my mistake. What a load of crap. Oh, this is the divine reason why it happened. Therefore, that she would get pregnant and they would stay together. He said, you can't use pregnancy to explain cheating. It doesn't work like that. I want a pregnancy test, not one from the store, but to actually go to the doctor and have them do it. If it turns out you're pregnant, then I want a paternity test. Good job, brother. She says, fine. I'll call the doctor tomorrow and set up an appointment. But if I'm pregnant, can we have a second chance? No, bitch, we can't have a second chance. You're not marriage material anymore. Hell, you weren't even before this. And how many other times were you cheating on me? Me? No. All I want to know is if from you is when and where the appointment is. She seemed to calm down for this, just to be a joke. She's been batshit crazy for almost the past week, and now she's extremely calm. I'm honestly extremely scared. She's calm because she thinks this is her way of now keeping you in her life. Next update. He says here, my ex made a doctor's appointment for a couple of days after my last post. She sent me a text with a date and time and asked me if I would be going with her. I told her I wouldn't, but I wanted Emily to go with her. Good. This chick is Emily's is a bro. You know, and that's cool. She straight up refused and said this was our baby, and that if I didn't go, she would cancel the appointment and wait until I was ready to go. We argued a bit until I gave in. I told her that I would go meet her there, and I would stay for the entire thing, but I was going to be stone silent the whole time unless the doctor asked me a question. I actually would go, because I want to fucking know. Her appointment was at 9:15 in the morning, and I showed up at 9:10 and sat across from her in the waiting room. The doctor called her back a couple of minutes later. They talked for a couple of minutes. She asked her some questions, and then she had to go to the restroom to pee in a cup. I made sure that her purse and everything stayed in the room. Somebody warned me it should be crazy enough to buy a pregnant woman's pee and use that instead. Yeah, it could happen. After she gave the cup to the doctor left, and then she tried to talk to me. I sat there and ignored her and texted my friends until the doctor came back and confirmed she was pregnant. Oh, joy. I started shaking and tried to control my breathing, but my ex was so excited, and the doctor was excited with her. I'd be like, oh, doctor, by the way, this a-hole sitting across me cheated on me with my friend, my roommate. I walked in on that little info for you. Then came the ultrasound, and my ex was roughly 11 weeks pregnant. After a couple of minutes, I excused myself and left. I texted her I was leaving that before anything else happens, we'll have a paternity test. Okay, so we heard 11 weeks. Remember, within a week is when he caught them hooking up. Okay? And remember how she said it was a mistake and a one-time thing and all that? Well, if it's 11 weeks, that's a lot of mistakes that he didn't mention. So, of course, it's trickle truth he was getting. First off, non-invasive prenatal testing is super expensive. I told her that I would pay for half, and that if the child wasn't mine, then she would have to pay me back for that. Bro, you're never going to get that money back. She told me that her parents were willing to pay for it. Her parents have more money than God, and I would know what to do with. Like millionaires' money. I told her my ex-roommate was taking the test as well. She said they didn't need to, and I snapped saying that, guess what, I can wait another 6 months. Because they won't put my name on the birth certificate until they prove I'm the father. She finally agreed with me and made him take the test as well. Good job, bro. Gotta be tough here. It says there's a place around here that actually specializes in DNA testing. So we were able to get there in just a couple of days. She brought her mom with her. Oh, for goodness sake. They told us that they would have the results in 10 days, and we could pick it up when or they could mail them to us, and we should pick them up, or we should pick them up in person. I was too nervous to go to get the results. Emily and Trevor both went in place for me. That must have been the 10 longest days of his life, and there's no way I would send my emissaries to go pick this thing up. I'd be there I'd be camped out in front of that place right before it opened up, because I'd want to know, because that's life changing. According to them, my ex wasn't happy that I was not there. Oh, screw her. And refused to let them see the results. But her mom told her that she could understand why I didn't want to be there. I'll never forget the phone call with Emily. So here we go. He's getting the call. She calls him and says, hey. Really? After all this, her call is, hey. And he says, well. And she says, wait for it, you're not the dad. You should have seen the look on your ex-roommate's face, though. He's the dad, and I didn't make that clear. Sorry. He says, at this point, I squealed like a little girl. There you go. That baby is that dude, his ex-roommate's problem. He's free. Now, of course, you should do a STI test and all that, but still. And yeah, remember the whole timeline here? Only happened one time, really, because the ultrasound confirmed 11 weeks. Hallelujah. My ex attempted to text me later, and I just ignored all her calls and texts. Both of her parents did text me, though, saying they wished me well with teaching, and that really meant a lot to me. As for other things in my personal life, I've gotten a new apartment over by Trevor and Emily. My ex doesn't know where I live at the moment, and her number is blocked. She's blocked on Facebook and everything else that I can think of to block her on. Doesn't matter. She knows where you work. She'll just follow you home or have one of her friends follow you, go all James Bond on you and track you down. You have not heard the end of her. I've joined a summer baseball league, and I play for that 2 times a week. I'm volunteering in the preschool classrooms on campus in the mornings. My job has given me more hours as requested, and I'm taking 3 summer classes. And I'm on the ASL tutor I am the ASL tutor for the summer classes now that they have started. I also bought a bike, and I ride that daily as well. I also got a kitty. His name is Jasper. Awesome, dude. Adopted a pet. And as a cat brother, I appreciate you doing that. Just don't call it kitty, unless it's a kitten. You got a man up there. It's your cat, not your kitty. And I read a lot more now. I realized I wasn't reading as much as I normally did while I was with my ex, and I've gotten back into reading. So you hear that, guys? He's getting life back on track. He joined a baseball league. He's a couple games a couple times a week. Awesome. Riding a bike, getting exercise, getting out there. Adopted a cat, not a kitty, a cat. Got to be manly about this. Great. He's moving on, getting more teaching courses. He's been with her for 7 years. He's 22. That's a third of his freaking life. He had that goddamn ring in his safe. Unfortunately, he's probably not going to get his money back for that. But he dodged a big one here. And now she's pregnant. Whether she keeps it, who knows? Well, that's her problem and his former roommate's problem. My friends are saying that I'm too busy now and that I could have even less time than I did when I was with my ex. But I like that. The busier I stay, the less I think about her and the happier I am. Dude, this is what you gotta do to get over shit, fine. But you do have to go through the grieving process. That's important. There's a week between the summer classes that I'm tutoring this summer, and Emily, Trevor, and Emily's best friend and I are going on a 5-day hiking camping trip. Cool. Get away from it all, out in nature. Wonderful. I want to say thank you to everybody that helped me through all this. The support you've given me has really helped me. There are still a lot of people saying that this isn't true, but I'm receiving a lot more positive support than negative. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I can't go through any videos that people saying that this every single story I've ever done, guys. 3,000 plus videos in between all 3 channels, and there's always somebody that says it's bullshit. Every time. Newsflash, no, it's not. But they're making a comment, and they watch my video, and I make money off them, so I get the last laugh. No, Emily and I are not going to date. For the many people that have asked, I'm sorry to disappoint you that we are not. I don't see her in a romantic way, and I'm planning on staying single for a while. I guess Emily's fat or something. I'll be finishing my BS elementary education this upcoming school year, and then I still need to decide whether to continue schooling and pursue my MS in deaf education and deaf studies, or whether I would start teaching. Sorry I take down the link of Jasper. I was reminded that you are not allowed to post links. He posted a picture of his cat, and he couldn't leave the picture of the cat up. Reddit's crazy. Well, anyhow, there you go, guys. This poor guy, and I'm sorry it happened to him, but you know what? Thank God he walked in on it. Because imagine if he didn't. They could have been hooking up the whole time. He proposed to her and all that, you know. Maybe she would have left him. Maybe she wouldn't have, you know. Because a lot of times these gals will keep their guy that is their provider, the guy they're going to marry, and they have their guy on the side they hook up with. But thank God he walked in. I still would have thrown the lasagna at them. You know, at least the ingredients on them or something. Or if it was the frozen lasagna, I would have hit the guy over the head with it. But, well, I got to watch what I say here on YouTube. But anyhow, you get the point. But good for him. And now now his former roommate has to deal with that baby. That's awesome. But the point of the whole thing is, guys, aside from the entertainment value, is you got to keep your eyes open and watch everybody, even your roommate, even your bros. It's just a sad reality as it is. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.